The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of Green Acres and our guests. These general gardening tips and suggestions may work for you, as well as those from alternative sources. When using any garden products or tools, read and follow all label directions. And learn how to make your yard summer strong at bewatersmart.info.
The Green Acres Garden Podcast is the podcast dedicated to helping gardeners hone their growing skills while we celebrate our love of plants. So whether you're new to growing or a seasoned gardener, you're sure to learn something new. Join the fun as we have conversations with world-class growers, passionate green thumbs, and professional garden experts from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Listen every week. We'll answer questions you didn't know you had. And away we grow. Hello there, all you green thumbs, and welcome to the show. My name's Kevin Jordan, and this is the Green Acres Garden Podcast. I am on a mission to learn all that I can about gardening and growing and share it with as many people as I possibly can. So thanks for being here. Back in studio for another great episode. And to my right, riding shotgun, is Austin Blank.
Hey, it's Austin. Welcome back to all of our listeners. You know, we have not had a guest on the show in a little bit here. Me and you have been hanging out here in the studio together. But this week we have an amazing new guest who has never been on the show before and a new topic. So Kevin, give our listeners a little tease. What are we getting into this week?
So we are going to discover and learn about and share this passion for a plant that is known for amazing foliage. I'm talking sculptural. It's got spotted leaves, a metallic sheen, bumpy, lumpy. I mean, so many different types of foliage. The flowers are gorgeous and also known just for amazing forms. So from foliage, flowers to form, we got an amazing plant to share with you, and I'm talking about begonias.
Wow, that's so cool. We've never done an episode about begonias, and I like how you just laid that out, the 3 Fs.
Yes.
The foliage, the flowers, and the form. Now, real quick, the form is like the general shape of the flower, right?
Sculptural. I mean, you'll get some, like the ones we've had, the cane ones she'll bring up, they're really tall and a little bit more vertical. Other ones stay really short. Their leaves are often asymmetrical, which you don't get a lot in the plant world, it's so cool. Some of them are wing-shaped, spotted leaves. There's so much to choose from.
The spotted ones. The spotted ones are so cool.
Yes. But some that we saw had like kind of textured leaves that look all ruffled and kind of bumpy in a very cool way. And guess what? There's tons of hybrids, some that are coming out all the time. So it's a beautiful plant. And guess what? We got to learn about it from somebody who is an amazing person. We get to meet somebody, Raquel from out of Roseville, a.k.a. Rocky, as her friends like to call her.
Yep.
Raquel is, a begonia enthusiast. She works out there at the Green Acres out in Roseville. After today's episode, you were going to want to go down there and just chat her up. I'm telling you. She was an amazing guest. Like you mentioned, we've had a few episodes recently where we had the family style, where it's just me and Austin in here kicking the shoes off and just having some fun with a couple garden buds. But we got a new garden bud this week, and that's Rocky. And she comes fired up, tons of knowledge. You can tell she's a researcher. Yep. Like she when she you can tell
she's a member of the Begonia Society.
Yes, and we will leave their link in the description.
Yeah.
So much to learn from. I don't want to step on her words at all, and we'll just get into it and just I'll let you know, Austin, when we first started this, typical interview, wanting to learn something new, and she taught me a ton about begonias, but by the end of it, I learned about begonias and so much more. And honestly, I left that interview so warmed up and inspired. And I don't want to step on it too much, so I'll leave it to the interview.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and go to it. We met up with Rocky at the Roseville Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Let's go ahead and jump into it now. Here we go.
The maculata that hooked me, that hooks a lot of people, it has those like white spots on the leaves. And the first time I saw it, it stopped me in my tracks. And I was like, that's not real. I was foolishly, it sounds ridiculous now when I say it, but I was convinced that somebody had painted the dots on the leaves. I was like, that's not real. My name is Raquel. I go by Rocky. I'm the houseplant buyer here at the Roseville store, and I'm a huge begonia geek. You know, you kind of do a deep dive into the history and the science of it, and it's absolutely fascinating. Like, begonias have been around since dinosaurs. And if that isn't resilience, I don't know what is. And they're just so diverse and beautiful. There's so much to love about them. And I think whether it's an indoor or an outdoor situation, there's a begonia for you, if not many.
Love it. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about the range, the beauty of begonias? Like, what do they actually look like, and what can they expect from begonias?
Right. Okay. So there's Rex begonias, those are probably the most colorful leaves. They kind of have like jewel tones, really prolific coloring on them. And then there's cane-like begonias, like the maculata you were talking about. Those are going to be a little bit taller, and the leaves are kind of angel wing, often described as angel wing. Then there's rhizomatous, and those are kind of like Rex begonias, but not as bright colors, but still really cool leaf shapes, kind of low-growing, compact. And then the shrub begonias usually have like smaller leaves and then kind of, like a shrub. And then tuberous begonias are the ones you see like outside that have like the really showy flowers. Not as much in our region, but in other areas, the flowers can get like big, like a dinner plate big. Like if you ever go to the Begonia show, the National Convention, what growers are doing with those things are insane. Just absolutely stunning. So those are probably like, if you're looking for a big showy flower, it's going to be like the tuberous ones. And then there's like the wax bedding plants, like the ones I think everybody goes, that's the plant in your grandma's yard, but they're tried and true.
That was the first begonia I ever saw.
That's me too. So like they're the little pink and red flowers, sometimes white with the big, thick, waxy leaves, a little bit hairy, but very low growing. So if you're looking for something really, really tall, you're going to get into like the canes. And if you want something really flowery, that's going to be like the tuberous ones. And if you like super colorful, that's going to be the Rex begonias.
You brought up some of the history about begonias. What's up with that? I love it.
So anytime I'm really into a certain type of plant, I like to learn as much as I can about the history and the science of it so that I can give it what it needs, right? Where is it from? So I kind of did a little bit of digging, and it turns out they're from dinosaur era. So we're talking like 70, 80 million years ago. There was a huge, shift with carbon and humidity, and that's when you see begonias start to emerge. And then as the continents shifted, they became isolated and started diversifying, and that's why there's such a spectrum of different types and looks and varieties.
For the average person who comes in, like, why would you recommend a begonia to them, and what would be like the best uses for them?
I think they're easy to care for. So if you want to set yourself up for success, I think begonia kind of ticks those boxes. It's a rewarding grow. They're easy to propagate. They're very showy. They flower without needing a lot of light, which most plants that do flower do require a significant amount of light, whereas begonias don't.
How do we actually care for a begonia? If someone comes in, they grab one, if they bring one home, what is the best way to kind of keep that begonia healthy?
So indoor, you're going to want bright to medium filtered light. Direct sun in the morning on a houseplant is okay. Direct afternoon sun, not okay, because it's going to scorch the leaves. So you want that nice filtered light. That's ideal. And then you want to let it, depending on the begonia, right? So if it's a Rex begonia or rhizomatous begonia, the top 2 inches of the soil should be dry before you water it. And then with like a cane begonia, those want to dry a little bit more thoroughly. So I always tell our customers, you should really be in the habit of feeling your soil and not just looking at it, but actually feeling it. Stick your finger in the soil. And if you don't want to do your finger, you can do a wooden skewer, a chopstick, whatever. And you kind of want to go for like cake toothpick test.
Yeah, is that batter sticking to the toothpick?
Exactly.
That's how I know my brownies are done.
Exactly. So for the ones that like to dry out more thoroughly, you want to go down about 4 inches. For the ones that like more consistent moisture, you want to go down about 2 inches.
Interesting. So they really are particular with their watering.
They can be, yeah.
It's interesting. The ones that we used to plant in the container pots out there, I used to love them in the summer, or you get them in the spring or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Their leaves are pretty juicy. They almost succulent-like in a way.
Very waxy, very thick. It's one of those things where if it looks really, really good if you take good care of them, but it looks really, really bad if you don't, because then they start getting all crunchy.
Well, let's get into that. So if if I want bring some color onto the patio, whether in a flower bed or in the pots, begonias, I always like pairing them up with like impatiens and things like that. They seem to kind of go well together. I don't know if that's just me, but just the colors and just the kind of what they need, their growth requirements seem to be a little similar. What is best practices? What would you tell a customer who comes in and they buy a couple 6-packs and they're like, I'm going to take these home. What do I do to not kill these?
So you want like dappled light, again, keeping it out of direct afternoon sun. You want to have a decent amount of humidity if possible. They do appreciate that. So here in Sacramento in the summertime, we kind of have a battle with that. So if you can create a nice shade canopy for yourself to help with that humidity, that's kind of a nice setup for success. And then the overall universal big tip that I have for success with begonias, whether it's inside or outside, is pruning aggressively and consistently.
Pruning? And so for a small, it's like deadheading and just cleaning them out as they grow?
Exactly. You want to clear out any dead plant material underneath because that invites pests and problems. You want to, anything that's struggling, prune the crap out of it. That's a big part of success with begonias.
And for a plant so small, I'm used to trees and shrubs, people hearing pruning. For such a small plant, what does that actually look like?
So you always want to have clean shears. I keep a bottle of rubbing alcohol with a spray nozzle with my shears at all times.
I like that.
Because if you're treating one plant that happens to be infected with a pest or any kind of problem, and then you go to the next plant, you don't want to be spreading it. So clean shears, rubbing alcohol, and then any leaf that doesn't look up to standard, like cut it off. Or you can, prune the tip of it off if it's too aggressive and you don't want it to look bad.
So just pull away any of that old material. It doesn't look healthy.
Exactly.
So you mentioned about encouraging the hormones of the plant. I think we always hear about that for human health and whatnot. You never think about it for plants, but how could pruning it and just maintenance encourage that?
So pruning causes like an injury, right? So then the plant sends hormones to repair that injury, and that causes new growth. And that's also why you're able to propagate plants, right? So you cut it, and then if you injure that little bottom part where you cut it, just kind of scrape a little bit of the outer stem off. Now the plant understands that it's hurt and it needs to fix it, so it's going to send those roots out. And then that's how you have your new plant.
I love it.
They're very intelligent.
Do you have a favorite begonia?
Oh gosh.
Or a favorite child?
I'd say it probably changes. Maybe right now the little Bipinodophyta. It's got kind of like that little
double
lace.
leaf or
it's
something?
like a little lacy, dainty leaf. If you throw it in a terrarium, keep it closed, you don't have to do a thing. It just goes crazy, and it's really, really pretty.
And those are the ones that have this ultra beautiful foliage. Well, because I've always liked those ones. What are the ones that are they almost look fake? Just the leaves are so dark and weird colors and kind of different textures.
Probably a Rex or a Rhizobitis.
They're so cool.
Yeah, and then when you get into the hybrid culture, that's so exciting. There are 3 plants that I can give you a really good example of making a really nice hybrid. So you have Gardii, which I would describe as looking kind of like the knee of an elephant. It's big, round, wrinkly, very textured, and then there's the mate to it, right? In this scenario, it's called a luxurians. It's very tall, it's got fingered leaves, it almost looks like a palm tree. Very, very lanky, right?
Very unique structure, it sounds like.
And then you put them together and you have these really thick, ripply, fat fingered leaves that grow nice and tall. Personally, that's artistry to me. I would never think to cross those two, but the result is so beautiful. It's called a Paul Hernandez. It's gorgeous.
What are you doing at home that's making you successful with your plants? Or have you already touched on that? I'm sure you have.
Again, with pruning, I used to be a very passive plant grower.
I think most people
just
probably
like
are.
let it do its thing. I don't want to disturb it. But I've come to realize that not only do they respond well to it, but they kind of demand it. And I do a lot of propagating, and that I call it like my insurance policy. So like if I get a new plant, I'm going to propagate it as soon as I can, so I have a backup.
Just in case mama dies on us. We got a baby.
Exactly.
And when you propagate, what are you doing? How are you doing that at home?
So if it's a cane begonia, you can, cut the cane below the node, dip it in rooting powder, drop it in some water. And then if it's like a Rex begonia, you're gonna cut the veins on the underside of the leaf and then just lay it onto some perlite or soil, give it a little bit of moisture and humidity, leave it alone.
Now that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because they're one of the few plants that you can do that with, to my understanding. I mean, well, the succulents you can propagate from leaves and things like that, but it's a little different. So can you talk about it one more time? So with the Rex begonias, you can do a leaf cutting?
There's a few ways to do it. You can cut the leaves into sections and, drop the bottom of the section into the soil, or you can cut the whole leaf off, turn it over, cut into the vein just so that there's like a little slice, and then turn it back over onto your substrate. Give it a little bit of enclosure and humidity, leave it alone, and it'll make as many plants as there are cuts.
That's so cool.
If that isn't like such a cool indication of how remarkable and intelligent plants are, I don't know what is. It's so impressive.
Well, as you were saying, it made me think about what you were saying earlier about how like they're responding into the wounds and things like that, and they want to live, and you're kind of intentionally creating these little wounds on there. Exactly. So cool. I love it.
Very cool. Yeah.
I love it. That's rad. What do you love most about plants and growing and gardening and the whole world of plants?
That's a great question. So the way I got started with plants was I had a therapist, and he said, look, I'm not going to prescribe you any medications. I struggle with depression. He said, I'm not going to prescribe you any medications, but what I would like you to do is get your hands in the earth. There's a benefit to it medically, and I think you would really enjoy that. So I did. And I was a patron here at Green Acres before I was an employee. And I looked around and I was like, these people seem to really like their job. I wonder if I could work here. And this is coming from having been like a personal assistant to an attorney, a very like crazy, rigorous, heavy-hearted job. And I kind of hit the wall with that. So shifting to a role like this has been a huge, huge health benefit for me. And I think plants are incredible teachers. You get out of it what you put into it. I always say that when you go to somebody's house, you can kind of see their state of mind and their wellness reflected in how their plants are. If you see somebody who is like, deeply hurting or depressed, like their plants are kind of going to reflect that. And if they're, feeling really good and things are going well, their plants reflect that too. It's not an absolute, it's not a universal thing, but it is often the case, I've found. I see that in my own plants sometimes when I'm kind of feeling down. I can tell like I haven't really been on top of it. And I hope that if I ever came back in another life as a plant, that somebody would really take good care of me. So I try to take good care of my plants for that reason.
It's a beautiful way to think about it. I love it, and I wish you all the very best. And thank you so much for sharing that. I think there's a lot of people out there that are very similar and are struggling and having similar things they're going through. And I hope that they find a little bit of peace in what you shared. And I think gardening and growing can do a lot of things for a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. And if you saw some of the houseplants in my bathroom right now, you'd realize I'm struggling. But I think it's mostly due to lack of sleep. No, I have children. But I think it's amazing. And I think I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Because for us, gardening and growing and plants, whether it's houseplants, begonias, it's about making yourself feel good. It's about enriching your life and just having fun and hopefully bringing out the best in yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes it has multiple benefits.
Yeah, truly. A lot of people will get really down on themselves, like, killed the plant, and I'm like, look, we've all done it. We all do it. If you ever meet somebody who says they've never killed a houseplant, they're a filthy liar. So,
well, they never had a houseplant.
Exactly.
That's
it's
the only
a learning
way.
opportunity every time. That's how you learn and grow, by making those mistakes. So that's why I say plants are really great teachers.
Rocky, if someone's listening and they want to learn a little bit more about begonias, where would you direct that person?
So this is my favorite thing, honestly. This has been the thing that really kept me going, especially during times where I was not feeling super excited about going out. You know, when you struggle with depression, you're like really inclined to stay indoors. But I was invited to join the Begonia Society. At least just come to a meeting. It's super fun. And it is incredible. I love plant communities. It's a really special thing. We do it because we love it, right? So you get to be around like-minded people. We meet every third Tuesday of the month at the Shepherd Garden Art Center on McKinley. There's also like the national convention every year. The location changes. This year it's going to be, I think, in Fort Worth in May. That's a really fun way to meet a lot of people who are excited about begonias. And the thing that makes it really special is, you know, you're sharing knowledge. There's all these people with loads of experience just dying to share it. So you get the benefit of learning what they know. You can share what you know with them. Trade plants, share plants, buy plants. It's a lot of fun.
Love it. Your last call to action to anybody who's out there, who's on the edge, who's like, I'm thinking of, you know, beautifying my world, whether it's my porch or, you know, or my place. Mm-hmm. What would you say to that person?
Come on by. Come see me at the Roseville store. We'll choose something really great for you.
Well, you heard it right here from Raquel. Thank you so much, Rocky. I learned so much, and I'm fired up now, and in multiple ways. And I actually want to go check out some of those begonias because those honestly are beautiful. And I do have a few in my classroom, but honestly, I don't think we have enough. And I need more varieties.
Never have enough.
I love it. Never have enough begonias. All right. Until next time, Rocky. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we are back from our interview with Rocky. Big shout out to Rocky. Thank you so much for being on the show. She's such a treat to work with, and I learned so much about begonias. A new topic for me, Kevin. That was so fun. What did you think hanging out with Rocky?
I loved it. I always love getting firsthand knowledge from folks that are like in the trenches, and she's in that houseplant area day after day. And you can tell, like I said, she's a researcher, she's a learner. So much. I loved it. So thank you so much to Rocky. We got to have her back on.
Absolutely.
I think there's more, there's more there to learn from.
For sure.
And I think just if you're looking for a plant that's gorgeous, kind of eye-catching, a little bit unusual, and you want to have choice, begonias are where it's at. Like I said, you can plant them outside. There's the ones she brought up, the tuberous begonias that I'm kind of used to for pot-ups and in flower beds out front. But some of those indoor ones, man, they are just gorgeous, and they are so unique looking. I think there's something out there for everybody. I personally, in my classroom, I have my cane begonias, the angel wings, and they are sprouting up. I love the idea about pruning, fertilizing that she talked about, but also just the soil mix and just how they want a nice, light, airy, chunky soil mix where they can stay moist but never soggy. They like bright, indirect light, like a lot of those houseplants we've been talking about, very similar. So if you want something that is going to be pretty and beautiful that you can really take care of without too much effort, begonias are where it's at. And I absolutely loved that she shared about the positive effect that it's had on her, just learning and just working at Green Acres, and to say anything, but just changing her life with plants. I mean, and
plants have the power to do that. It's so cool.
Dude, amazing. And so to heal about the healing and just the joy factor. And now she's in the Begonia Society and she's meeting all these new people. It kind of makes me think, it's like, I love making new friends. And it's kind of hard as an adult. So I think there's so many positives to our conversation. I loved it. I hope people can get on that Begonia Society website.
I'll link it in the episode description. Look for that there. And then also, we have a Houseplant Fest coming up.
Those are fun. At
the Citrus Heights store. So if you are in the Sacramento area, we have a Green Acres Nursery and Supply in Citrus Heights. And on Saturday, January 24th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., we have Houseplant Fest. So they're doing special deals on houseplants. There's they bring in even special extra ones that aren't normally in the stores. It's a really cool event. You should check it out. And there's going to be a ton of begonias. So if you're excited about begonias now because of Rocky, go check them out at the Houseplant Fest. But also, all of our stores always have begonias, so there's always an opportunity to go check them out. I'll put the link to the event in the episode description as well. And then that's all for this week. Kevin, go ahead and take us out.
Dang. All right. Well, hey, amazing week. If you don't see me, I'll be at the plant bar.
There we
go. Hanging out with Rocky. Until next week, garden friends, thank you so much for being here. Thanks again to our guest, Rocky. And I'm wishing you all an amazing week out in that garden. Go take care of yourselves. Get some dirt underneath those nails. Happy gardening to you all. And please, never stop growing.